Hey, what's good, everybody? It's me, your hero, Benjamin Banks, and you're watching a brand new episode of Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks, and it is another new episode of Who's That Cosplayer? And joining me today is somebody that is training to be the #1 hero. Now, you know your boy, Benjamin. I'm a Deku cosplayer as well. And, I don't have the stuff with me, but because, I have the person that's training to be the #1 hero right now, I got the gloves right here. So, for this interview, I'm going to put these gloves on because, this is one hero to another. And, I'm also going to put on my Jotaro hat because they said that I look like Super Mario when I get the fire power. So, your boy, Benjamin Banks, you can call me Joku. I'll go with Joku today. But joining me today is an awesome person, an awesome cosplayer, and that is Crabbyfins. Crabby, how are you doing today?
Great. How are you?
Hey, I am doing fantastic. I got the gloves on. I got the hat on. I really do look like Super Mario. I just need the overalls and whatnot. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me today. How are you doing?
Thank you for having me. I'm doing great. Excited to be here for sure.
Hey, I'm excited as well. We're going into the Great Turkey War. It is coming up. It's coming up soon. We're almost there. And I just hope that everybody is preparing for this thing because, there's going to be people that's going to make it. And then there's going to be people that's not going to make it. And the people that do make it, I need everybody to prepare for the Great Gingerbread War because that's the next one coming up. So, Crabby, before we get into today's interview, everybody that's watching, make sure that you like this video, you subscribe to the channel, and you hit that bell button so that way you're always notified when we have new content here on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. And as D always says, podcast link down below in the description. Like, follow, subscribe. So let's go ahead and get into today's interview. So, first question that I ask each and every guest up here is, what is your origin story, Crabby? Every hero or villain has one, and since you are a hero, I'm going to call you a hero. Tell everybody who you are.
Well, I'm Crabbyfins. I'm 25 years old, and I started cosplaying over 10 years ago. Started with humble beginnings. Everybody buys their first cosplays, and since then I've strove to make my stuff and make it more personal. My origin story is, I guess I fell in love with anime, and I wanted to bring the characters to life. So I felt the best way to do that was to bring Halloween to every day, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And I love that. And that's something that I hear from all of my guests is, everybody, you started off with Halloween and whatnot. It's everybody's gateway into anime. And, you get older and you're just like, man, I can wear costumes all the time and like nobody's going to judge me. I mean, of course, there are people out there that's going to judge us, but we don't care about that.
But nobody's going to stop you.
Exactly. I always say the same thing. Like, who's stopping you from wanting to go to the mall dressed as Deku? Nobody's going to stop. I've gone places dressed as Jotaro because Jotaro, I mean, even though like it's just regular clothes, I feel like only certain people are going to be like, oh, snap, that's Jotaro. But, I think it's awesome that you mentioned too that, you had your humble beginnings with cosplaying and whatnot. What was the first cosplay that you wore?
The first one I ever wore, I think it was either Hatsune Miku or Rin Kagamine. It was one of the two Vocaloids, because I think Vocaloid was actually my gateway into anime as a whole. And I definitely bought that one online. I did not make it because I was 12, 13, couldn't sew, couldn't do anything. I had a party store wig. It was really bad. We don't talk about it.
Nah, I feel that, man. Hey, you got to do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, as long as you having fun and, everything looks good to you, that's all that really matters. Because then, of course, you do level up and then you get to where you are right now with your Deku cosplay, which is absolutely amazing. So, you're welcome. So you mentioned, Vocaloids was your gateway into anime and your Deku cosplay, like I said, is amazing. I want to talk about My Hero Academia. So,
yeah, let's do it.
You have a bunch of My Hero Academia cosplays on your I was about to say your YouTube, but on your page. And I'm a huge My Hero Academia fan. My Hero Academia was actually my re-entry into anime because I had stopped watching it, but seeing Deku and hearing his story and how it's very relatable. I just want to ask you now, like, was it the same thing with you when it came to wanting to cosplay as Deku?
Absolutely. It just immediately struck a chord with me. I got into my hero. I think when I first got into it, it was like there was like 1 or 2 episodes of the anime that was airing. And I saw him as a little nerd and immediately went, that's me. I know that's me. Humble beginnings, it always strikes a chord with us because I think all of us deep down want to be these, anime protagonists that can do anything, that can save the world, that can conquer their fears. But you always start somewhere humble like Deku. So,
yeah, I 100% agree with you on that. Now, I mentioned that you're a hero and whatnot, but when I was doing my research, I saw that you had did that Dobby cosplay, and if All Might was here right now, he would definitely say that that's not very heroic of you. So I got to ask you now, who do you like cosplaying as more? Do you like cosplaying as Deku, or do you like cosplaying as Dobby?
Honestly, actually, I think both of them bring out different sides of me. It's fun to get to act as a hero or as a villain, but I actually think going to cons as Hawks is the most fun for me because he's so charismatic. Dobby will, he's more of a jerk. He'll keep to himself more, keep to his little group. Deku's fun, but there's so many Deku cosplayers out there. It's really hard to like stand out and, make a mark. But my Hawks is somebody who I feel like when I'm cosplaying as him, I can just step forward into any crowd and just, hey, how's it going? And immediately make friends. I love that.
Yeah, I totally understand that. And, I think about that, what you had just mentioned when it comes to Deku cosplay. Like, yeah, cosplaying as Deku is cool, but I feel like you have to go above and beyond when it comes to Deku
plus
cosplay.
Ultra.
Yeah, plus Ultra, exactly. Because there aren't a lot of people that cosplay as Vigilante Deku with the when he went like full like evil Deku, even though he wasn't evil.
The rabbit mask and everything all torn up. I love that look.
I want to do that cosplay one day, but I feel like you don't really see a lot of those Dekus, but of course you see the Dekus like us, and people that see those Dekus, they're just like, oh, like there's 30 Dekus
it's
here,
Deku. Yeah, right.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But that's why I love cosplaying as Jotaro, because you always see a lot of people doing JoJo's Bizarre Adventure cosplays, but you don't see a lot of Jotaros, or especially the Jotaro that I do. You see part 3, but you never see part 4 and part 6. So yeah, I mean, I can relate with you when you're talking about Hawks and just going in there and you're being that character and being charismatic and whatnot. So now I got to ask you, this is still in the My Hero train, who's your favorite character on My Hero Academia?
Favorite character out of all of them, not necessarily favorite character that I relate to. That's difficult. There's so many lovable ones.
I hope Koda isn't one of them.
What do you got against Koda?
I hate Koda.
Why?
I hate him with a passion.
He's so cute.
I hate Koda. And look, on the My Hero Academia podcast, which I'm a guest on sometimes, Kendra, she tweeted to me. She was like, hey, Koda, spoiler alert, I'm not going to spoil for anybody, but she was like, Koda has a really cool part in the new chapter. And I was just like, I'll be the judge of that.
I think Koda's sweet, but my top 3 are probably, and this might be controversial, Bakugo, Sun Eater, and Fat Gum.
I don't think that's controversial. I thought you was going to say like Moneta or something.
Oh, God, no.
Yeah, because if you said Moneta,
no.
Hey, they would be in the comments saying, yeah, we're shutting this down.
In my 1A, if I talk about like it, I run panels a lot. That's my big thing, is I go to these conventions and we'll run giant panels that are mostly acting based.
Yeah.
And whenever we establish like a canon for our panels, so like what time in the timeline are we in, who's doing what in this time. And just one of the ground rules that I always establish is Mineta is not in our class. He was replaced by Shinso.
Who's that cosplayer?
Baroni Alley.
That's awesome, man. I would love to, come to one of those panels, man, because it's like whenever I'm Deku, I'm one of those Deku cosplayers. If I see another My Hero Academia cosplayer, like I'll be in character. So every time I see a Shoto cosplayer, I always say, it's your quirk, he is, or I just love doing that stuff. And again, back on the My Hero Academia podcast, because they read the newest chapters that come out. So whenever I come up there, they're always just like, oh, we know Banks is going to be yelling if he's going to be reading Deku's part. Because it's just like, I love screaming Detroit Smash. When he was having to fight against Shigaraki, Detroit Smash, St. Louis Smash, and like they was just like, Banks, our ears. I was just like, that's what Deku does. Like, what, do y'all want me to be like Detroit Smash? No, I got to be loud. So
whispering Detroit Smash.
Yeah, no, you got to be loud with it. So one last question, since we're talking about heroes, who is one of your favorite heroes when it comes to like comic book characters?
Easy, Nightcrawler from the X-Men.
Ooh, yeah, yo. right.
I cosplayed him back when Apocalypse came out. I cosplayed
Ooh.
him to the premiere of the movie, and I had a moving tail and everything. It was
Nice.
amazing. But nobody knew who I was because
Ah.
Nightcrawler was super popular in like the 70s and 80s, but he's not so popular anymore because he doesn't have such a pivotal role in the comics or in the movies. But it's like I can still remember walking through the mall, and exactly what you were saying. One of my favorite things to do while cosplaying is go to malls and walk around in costume. And I remember this little 5-year-old girl going, oh, he's blue.
That's so funny, man. Yo, it's crazy because Nightcrawler is one of my favorite X-Men too. And I always said if I was in the world of My Hero Academia, my quirk would be teleportation because like nobody has it. And yeah, that would be my quirk. So moving back, because it's like we could talk about My Hero Academia all night.
Easy.
I want to go back to your cosplay origins, and I got to know, what was it like going to your first convention in cosplay? Or did you cosplay when you went to your first convention?
I did. I cosplayed to my first convention, and it was a teeny tiny little con called PoshoCon, meaning Book Con, in my hometown. I think I was like 11 or 12. Mm-hmm. I had all of half of a cosplay on, and it was from an anime that was popular at the time that just isn't popular at all anymore, but at the time there were actually other people cosplaying from the same anime, and I remember just being in awe seeing people that I knew must like the same things that I like and seeing merchandise of the stuff that I like, because back then it wasn't as accessible as it is now to get stuff online, to get merchandise from Japan online, you know. But at these conventions you'd find stuff written all in Japanese, obviously imported, that you can only get here. It was like Wonderland, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember I'm the same way as you. I put the play back in cosplay. I want to go and act as the character, you know. I've always done theater and stuff, so it's like half of the fun, if not more, for me is being in character at these cons.
Yeah, that's awesome. So do you have any favorite con moments from over the years?
Yeah, for sure. A lot of them have to do with the panels that I've run. Me and my fiance have run panels from My Hero, from one of my favorites was we did a Arcana panel right before COVID, actually, at our last convention before COVID shut everything down for a couple years. Mm-hmm. And it was almost like we brought the Arcana dating sim game into a physical form so that we could play it in the panel room. But other than that, probably just the friends that I've made through cosplay. You know, I wouldn't have half of the friends that I do if not for this community and for cosplaying and conventions.
So, you know, before we move on, you got to give your fiance a shout out, because I saw the post that you had put up where you were talking about him and whatnot, and you know, go ahead and give him a shout out.
All right, Jesse, if you're listening to this, which I know you are, Sia Beaches is his username on Instagram, and he is the love of my life. He's the man I'm going to marry, and he's the flame that keeps me in everything I do.
Awesome. Hey, I love that, man. So now I got to ask you, when you're not cosplaying, what are some of your hobbies that you're into?
Cosplay is my main hobby right now, honestly. Ever since I got more into making things, like making my own props and stuff. Mm-hmm. But I think all of that stemmed from my main hobby, which is art. So I'm a huge artist. I'm going to school currently. I'm in college for art. And so it's just everything that I do is pretty much all either art or anime related. I'm one of those people that I've gotten hobbies because I looked at an anime and I went, I could do that. Volleyball, ice skating, all of that. It all came from anime.
Yeah. I always think that it's really cool when anime, it inspires us to want to do stuff. Like one of my friends, his son, like he does taekwondo, and it's from watching anime, you know. And right. I always think that it's cool. I mean, same thing. I mean, going back to My Hero Academia, when you see like all of the stuff that Deku does, you know, wanting to help people with a smile and whatnot, like that's something that, you know, it's a philosophy that I like to have. You know, I'm always trying to help people, and you know, if I ever see somebody that needs help, like a car on the road or something, I do it. And because that's what heroes do.
Right.
Heroes help people even when they don't ask to be helped. That's the
heroism is mostly about the little acts of service in your everyday life, for sure. I've done volunteer work since I was a kid, and into my adult life, I haven't let that stop me. Everything from I've been late to running my own events because we saw somebody struggling carrying something to their panel, and we went, "Do you need help with that?"
Yeah, I've done the same thing. Like whenever I'm going to cons and I see like somebody like pulling a cart or something, like, oh, I can help you with that. Or if they're trying to carry a bunch of stuff like from their car, it's the little things like that really matter. And like people, they really appreciate that. Like right now, I'm doing my first ever turkey drive where it's like I'm trying to get a total of 25 turkeys so that way, I can donate to the less fortunate. And right now, I've gotten 6 turkeys so far. So yeah, I'm really proud about that. And I just love helping people out. So we're getting here to the end of the interview, and I just mentioned turkey, and like I said at the start of the interview, the Great Turkey War is coming up. So I gotta ask you, what is your favorite dish that you like to have on Thanksgiving?
That's not a question I think I've ever gotten asked before.
That's why I ask the hard questions.
Honestly, probably like cranberry sauce, cranberry puree.
Okay.
That's it's a weird one, but it was like the thing that I would always save for last because I considered it like dessert.
Yeah, look, it is nothing wrong with cranberry sauce. Like there have been times where it's just like I don't do it anymore. But when I was a kid, like I would go in the kitchen because I knew that my mom had cranberry sauce up in the cabinet. It was for Thanksgiving, and I would just crack that bad boy open and I would just eat it right out of the can. Like I told a story before where it's just like I used to do the same thing with stuffing, like because you can have stuffing for if you get it for Thanksgiving, you can have it up to next year's Thanksgiving. And like my mom, she used to stock up on the stuffing, and like I used to eat it throughout the year because who don't love stuff? I mean, there are people that don't love stuffing, but yeah, I mean cranberry sauce is good, especially if it has the actual cranberries in it.
Right.
Yo. Damn, I'm licking my lips right now. But Crabby, thank you so much for joining me up here on a brand new episode of Who's That Cosplayer. You were awesome to talk to, and I'm happy that from one hero to another, you're awesome.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been great.
You're welcome. So before I let you go, let everybody in social media land know where they can find you at.
All right, so it's at Crabbyfins on Instagram. And YouTube, I'm starting up YouTube stuff. It'll be coming up here with builds and stuff soon. And then I'm going to shout out my fiance again, Sia Beaches on Instagram, because he's my photographer for everything. And he's definitely my favorite person to cosplay with. So check him out too.
I love that. I love all the love. We're going into the Great Turkey War and there's nothing but love up here. So I really appreciate it. And, everybody, y'all know where y'all can find me, your hero, Benjamin Banks at @KingBenji_Banks on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. You can find me on Facebook at Benjamin Banks. I should be the first person to pop up. If not, then I need to contact Mr. Zuckerberg. Thank you, everybody, for watching this interview. Make sure you check out the more interviews we have here on the channel, along with reaction videos and reviews. Check out the podcast. The link is down below in the description, where we have new episodes every Tuesday, and then the video of that episode is up here on YouTube on Friday. So with that being said, keep that pinky up. The Great Turkey War is almost here. Stay positive, stay safe. We'll see you next time on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Peace.
Thanks again, everybody, for watching another episode of Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe to the channel. Podcast, we got that too. Make sure you give us a thumbs up and hit that bell for further episodes and notifications. Thanks a lot to our patrons. And if you don't mind, join the Patreon. We'll be having new specials coming up soon.